everyone. This is Stephanie Mann, and this is the Safe Kids Now show. And I am so thrilled to have with me today a friend of mine for many years, and his name is AJ Jelani, the Honorable AJ Jelani. And he started Peace on the Streets. He has started a statewide program for youth development, and he is started in 1994 after 3 days of rioting in the city of Richmond, California, after a young person was shot by police, and he got 200 young people together and made a recording on a CD that went statewide. So he's been involved as a chairman of the he'll have to tell you more about it, but he worked in the Iron Triangle. He was a chairman of the Belding Woods Neighborhood Safety Project. Anyway, I'm so thrilled to have with me today Honorable AJ Jelani. So AJ, this is so much fun for me to welcome you today because we have been friends for so long. How many years has it been? When did we meet?
About 30 years now.
Oh my gosh. Has it really been that long?
Well, I believe so.
Yeah. Well, you remember where we met?
Oh, San Pablo Town Center.
Yes.
San Pablo, fighting for justice.
Yeah, and he came into a meeting that we were holding, and he was such a bright light, and he always has been a bright light, and he's changed so many lives. I'm just thrilled that you had a time to come and join me today.
All praise be to God.
Well, let me start off. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your history? How did you happen? I know you were homeless for a while, so should we start there?
Yeah, well, first of all, my name is Honorable AJ Jelani.
Yeah.
I'm the creator of the Seal of the African American.com. I'm the president of Peace on the Streets organization, San Francisco. And I'm also the president of Belding Woods Neighborhood Council, Richmond, California.
Yeah, I should have gotten that right, but continue.
We have some more times, but we won't go through everything. But I just want to say thank you so much, Stephanie, for the opportunity to be presented on your show. You're not only a long-time friend, but you've been in the struggles for freedom, justice, and equality for at least close to 30 years that I know about. And I just want to say personally, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for being the person that you are. And we want to say thank you for the station that allows us to host this.
Well, thank you for joining us because what happened to you that you were homeless for a while? And what happened as a result of being homeless? How'd you get out of it?
Well, I'll tell you, when I was homeless, they didn't call it homeless. Homeless is a new word. They call it hobo and tramp.
Oh, dear.
Mama, look at that hobo, look at that tramp. And there was no such thing as the word homeless. That's a new word. But a strange thing happened. I was coming home. Matter of fact, I worked as a survey engineer, Local 3, for many years. Highways, freeways, big projects. We won't go through that. But anyway, I worked for BART. Matter of fact, I helped build BART.
Oh.
I helped build BART, downtown Napa, San Francisco Airport, and was the commissioner for LeVon Dejan Middle School in Richmond. But we won't go there either. So what happened with the homeless situation? I came home one day, and I didn't feel like going to work the next day. I used to commute before they brought up the word commute, 110 miles a day back and forth from San Francisco to Napa every day. And I had to be there like for 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I wore out about 2 cars or what have you. So anyway, it's a long time ago. And so I didn't go to pick up my check that Friday. I'll speed the story up. So a relative said to me, I won't put any names on it because I don't want to disparage anybody. If you don't have the money, get out. Now, this was a relative. I said, what did you say to me? Well, if you don't have the money, get out. So I tapped my watch about 3 times like Dorothy did on The Wizard of Oz. I looked at the clock. I said, give me about 4 hours, 5 hours. My manhood I was highly insulted. Got in my car, packed up what I could, took off for the streets. I slept in the bowling alleys. I slept in my car. I slept at friends' houses. I slept at the warehouses. I slept anywhere that I could. And then finally, one day, a friend of mine saw me in the bowling alley. You have to stay awake in the bowling alley. You know, you can't go to sleep in there. So I was the bowling alley. The bowling balls would wake you up.
Yeah, I would think.
So, so a friend of mine gave me an opportunity. He let me stay in a warehouse. It used to be a paint warehouse where they stored the paint. So I had to stay in there. So I carved me out a little spot at the warehouse, and from there I met my little wife, and from there we struggled together, and we built a family together, you know.
Oh, well,
So
you've been a big success all these years. So
right,
tell us a little bit about Peace on the Streets, because that's why I met you. And that was at a time when I was promoting Neighborhood Watch, neighborhood involvement, and you were already there. You were working with countless kids
Fred
in
Jackson.
Richmond, California. So tell us, how did you make connection with all those kids in your neighborhood?
Well, I'm gonna try to make a just very short story of it.
Okay.
I was at home one day, I heard some gunshots and a wreck. The horns went off for the automobile. Then the kids in the neighborhood knew me because I always was active in the neighborhood. Mr. AJ, two people got shot. I think they're dead. Could you come look? So the horns were blowing, just like the movies. Bob, it's just crazy. So I went. The police were there, and this was almost 30 years ago. So no disparaging of the policemen, but they were drinking coffee and casually talking, and two dead people were there in the car. So I asked them. I said, "What are you going to do like that?" They asked me who I was. So I told them who I was, AJ, Peace on the Streets, blah, blah. Oh, no, you get from behind the tape. See, I went underneath the yellow tape to find out more about it because they were so cavalier about it. So now I asked them, I said, now look, what are you going to do? So I said, looks like we need some making a scene, because I guess they wanted everybody to see the people inside, and, the crowd was building. It was getting very, very unsettling. So I went to the phone. I called it. Oh, it must have been about 1 o'clock in the morning. I called the mayor's office in San Francisco. They closed at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I called the police department. You know what they told me? They know about it already. So I said, "You're going to do anything?" They said they're going to take care of it. So somebody called, I forget, and told me that you call the coroner's office to pick up the bodies. So I called the coroner's office. I guess it must have been about 2 about that time. And they told me, they said, where? Who? How many? They said, we never got a call. No one never called. The people were sitting out there. You don't know if they could have been rescued or not, but no one never bothered to even check. So anyway, it struck me to the core, and a voice, just as you see in the Bible, says, AJ, what you going to do about it? What do you mean, what am I going to do about it? Well, you see what's going on here. You know about the streets and these kids. And what are you going to do about it? Oh, nothing. I'm like everybody else now. So I got my remote control now. I flip the channel. And says, oh, this little voice says, you got comfortable. See, I'm going to have to take that TV away from you. Oh, I'm smart, Oh, I don't care about the TV. Oh, I'm going to take your car away from you. Oh, I don't care about that car. Get another one. Well, I guess I just have to take your family away from your wife and your kids. Well, Lord, what do you want me to do?
That woke you up.
Lord, what do you want me to do? I can lose all the material things, but I don't want to. He said, know what the voice said? Do what you can. I said, wow, do what I can. Just do what you can. So I remembered that my dad had a record company, and I think the idea came, hey, get the kids involved with music. So I set out on that venture to get the kids involved with music, and that's when I ran into you to get them involved in acting. And you were so nice. You were able to help me with my envelope, my business cards, my direction, help me with accounting, to help me with a lot of the things that I did not know, because I'm on this spiritual journey. I don't know why, but I'm just on this journey to do what I was asked to do. And so so wonderful that we were called in a time of need in the Lakeview area of San Francisco. You remember that?
Hmm.
3 days of rioting. They were tearing down and burning and looting. So they
Nothing's
called.
changed in some areas, has it?
Well, the more things change, the more things remain the same.
Yeah.
What the cause of that was, now listen to me good.
Hmm.
Lakeview Park, San Francisco, 1995. William Hankston Jr. He's in the park. The police make a raid. They tell everybody to halt. He's on his bicycle. Somehow the policeman blew the back of his head off and killed him. So now that was the cause for the rioting. See?
Yeah.
So now the people are hurting. How do they right this injustice? They're grieving, they're hurting. How do they overcome this? So then they called Mr. AJ, can you come and see what you can do? So, I don't know what I can do, but I'm gonna do the best I can. Do what you can, remember?
Right.
You can. So when we went out there, I had an idea prior to have 3 microphones put in the park. Okay, now, guys, check this out. 3 microphones. Don't ask me how, what, we'll get that later. 3 microphones is in the park. I got 200 and some mad people ready to jump on the police, tear down the town, and so forth. So I asked the policeman, I said, I got to make an announcement. I said that, we're going to have we're going to cancel. Because the police department asked me to cancel it. That's why. I said, but I can't cancel it unless you let me go to the mic and talk to the people because we're going to have a big problem. They said, oh, AJ, go ahead. Go ahead and do it. So you know what happened?
No.
I got those 200 people together,
Oh.
and they voiced their opinion in those mics, and they voiced their feelings in that mic. And after a while, we sung together. We're going to miss you, brother. The nickname was Squeegee. So we're going to miss you, Squeege. And we did an album, all 200 and some of those mad people that were going to tear up the town. And we entitled it Tragedy into Triumph. Praise the Lord.
I love it. I love
Praise
it.
the name of the Lord of Jesus. Amen. So we're just able to do these things by the will of God. Now you got to remember how I started. Do what you can. You see?
I wish everybody would go with that.
You
Do
hear
what
my
you can.
message to your
Absolutely.
audience?
Yeah.
Do what you can. You may
Yeah.
not can do a lot, but you do what you can. And from that led to me meeting people like Stephanie and being on this show and doing so many wonderful things. I just love it. The Lord has just taken over now. You're taking over. Go ahead and do your thing. What do you got? What question you want to ask me?
Well, you adopted a lot of kids on your block.
Oh, yes.
And, one of the things we've been talking about is how important it is to know your neighbors, because that's a sense of community, especially for children. And as I recall, I remember you telling me that you saw so many kids without fathers,
That's right.
that you stepped into the role of being a mentor for these children.
Exactly.
And how many of these children did you adopt on your block? Do you remember?
Well, we had 17 houses, and some of the houses had 20-something kids in them. They were all either foster kids or adopted kids or wayward kids or kids where the mother was in jail or the father was in jail, and the grandmother took care of everybody. So if she had 3 daughters or 2 sons, and you pile up 3 kids apiece or 4 kids apiece, it can add up fast.
Yeah.
Long story short, here's what happened. I was outside one day and I noticed this was a kid. Oh, he had to be 8, close to 9 years old, but he never was in school. And he would walk up and down the block, So I stopped him one day. I said, "Hey, what's your name?" He said, "My name is Stacy." I hope this doesn't reflect on anybody. I said, "How come you don't go to school?" He says, "My mama told me I was retarded." I said, "You retarded?" I said, "Who told you that?" He said, "Well, mom." I said, "You tell your mom I want to talk to her." I said, "You're not retarded." I said, and then furthermore, I said, "How you spell your name?" He shrugged his shoulders. He said, "I don't know." I said, "You come to my house at 2:00 each day in the afternoon, and I'm gonna teach you how to read, write, arithmetic, and everything." That's what I did. And his little brother, after that, I opened my hands like this. His little brother said, "And I'm gonna bring him too." He joined in. He said, I want to make sure he's there. And they both came. And then from there, I was able to meet the parents who needed, social help. People need help.
Right.
And then the grandmother, we adopted her too. And I come to find out it was a bunch of them that just didn't have any leadership. They were just hanging in there with grandma and grandpa, and they were probably, getting whatever, subsistence they were getting, and was just drifting. But I want to say this too, because I don't want this to happen to anybody. Those same kids that were walking the streets, I took them to an event, a festival, and we were selling the tapes, the music tapes. And so one lady, a group of ladies from the city, they came by and they had their nose high in the air. And you know what they told me? What did you bring those kids here for? And the little kid looked and he started crying. He dipped his head down. And I said, oh my, I just lost him. He said, that's all right, Mr. AJ. He said, that's all right. He said, you tried. He said, you tried. And we lost him. Now he's in jail now.
Oh.
Him and his brother, they're in jail. God, just help us, through this. But it just hurt me so bad for them to cut the heart. I had him. But what did you bring those kids here for? Those are the ones we want.
That's right.
The ones that walk in the street. Those are the ones that's failing. The least, the lost and the left behind. Those are the ones that need it.
Absolutely.
See? And if I was homeless today, you know what I'd do? I'd take all my buddies right in front of the church. You know where they go in Sunday and they're all dressed up and then they put the money in and stuff and all the big steeples and the Saint, whatever it is, or what, I'd be parked right there. You know what I tell them? I said, I'm looking for a helping hand on a starting life. Can you help me? I bet you that changed things.
Yeah.
Because it's out of sight, out of mind. See, as long as you're over there, as long as you're downtown, as long as you're hitting off somewhere, I don't see you. But every last one of them need to take that tent and go right down. The nicer the church, the bigger the steeple, get right there near the door and tell them you need a hand. See, what did God ask you to do? What are you here for? What's your purpose? Right?
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just a sideshow, for everyone concerned. And while I'm speaking on that, and I know you'll have a question, I want to correct.
I do. AJ,
yes, ma'am.
Before you continue,
Yes, ma'am.
we're going to take a little break.
Okay, good.
We got a little advertisement here, and when we come back, we want to hear more about not only Peace on the Streets, but Christmas on the Streets, because you started that years ago too. So right now, we're going to take a little break, and we will be back in 30 seconds.
Throw and Tuck. It's handmade by myself, and you only can get it here, and it's patent, and it's only here at Rococo Design. It's like a regular pillow, or you can take the blanket out like so, fluff up the pillow, open up your blanket, wrap it around yourself, and then you can lay on your sofa and relax with your pillow, throw and tuck. When you're done with it, just flip it over. When you don't want the blanket anymore, you just fold it over twice. Fold it over twice again. Fold it over. And tuck it in the back. And there you go. You're back to the pillow, throw, and tuck. Rococo Design.
Hi, we're back,
Hey,
and I am speaking with the Honorable A.J. Jelani, and I am so thrilled to have him visit with us today because he has been given so many talents to help other people. And one of the things, oh, and if anybody has any questions, you can write them in the side, um, venue on this television show here. So if you have any questions, write them down because AJ would be happy to answer them for you. So AJ, we were talking about peace on the streets and interacting with kids. And you not only had the peace on the streets, but you also started Christmas on the streets, which involved a lot of kids. And I remember when you graduated from just on the streets, you had such a big crowd. You even went into the school at Cesar Chavez Elementary School and had an even bigger Christmas on the streets. And you
yes,
did that for how many years?
25 years.
Wow. And
25.
you made such a huge difference for families in your neighborhood
Yes.
because I can remember one of the neighbors made a sleigh for Santa, and Santa would sit in the sleigh, and the kids would sit on his lap and have their picture taken. And
Yes.
then one man made a train, for heaven's sakes, and they blocked off the street, and you had police that would come and enjoy the festivities with the kids and jump in the jumpy house with the
Oh,
children. And I mean, it was fun for everybody. So it got so big. But tell us, how did you happen to decide on Christmas on the streets?
well, I'll tell you again, those same kids that I was speaking about in the last segment, when
Mhm.
you take them under your wing and you show them somebody that loves them, you can probably do quite a few things with those people that we figured that are lost and left behind.
Right.
So one Christmas, I was at the house there, and I family and dad, and mom, we played the piano, sing the blues, we dance, we eat, and a thought came. Said, remember when times were real bad and you didn't have these things, you didn't have any toys and Christmas trees. Somebody else, some little kid, it's like you were.
Mm.
So can you find a way to find that kid and see if maybe you can cheer them up or bring a present or bring Christmas to them as you have in your house? I said, you know what? I'm going to try to have Christmas on the streets. So what I did, I went to the tree lot there in Richmond, talked to the gentleman there. He says, AJ, okay. He said, when you going, what you need? I said, give me some trees. They said, okay, how many you need? Give me 6 trees. Put them in the middle of the street, straight down the middle. Then I go to the neighbors. Hey, you guys gonna help me decorate these trees? Sure, AJ. Now I got the neighbors involved.
Good.
Okay, now I get a vision about a sled. Santa Claus got to have a sled, right?
Yeah.
So I
Pardon
started
it.
out with an 8.5 by 11 foot. Well, no, 4 feet by 8 foot. What is that? Wood side?
Plywood.
Yeah, plywood.
Hmm.
And I traced out a sled. So I'm out there cutting on it, the jigsaw. My neighbor comes, hey, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm trying to put a sled. He said, let me do it. You know, he's a carpenter, right? He said, let me do it. I said, no. I said, I'll do it. He said, yeah, I want to do it. I said, no, I do. So now we're fighting over the jigsaw. I said, take the doggone thing. So he cuts out the sled, and they started painting the sled, and he got his family involved, and I had a Filipinos, a couple, an elderly couple, and I had everybody, just every Chinese, black, everybody just started coming and helping out. And you know, it got so that it wasn't really, really good for me to do. After I showed them what to do, every year they would say, AJ, just sit down and relax. We got this. But you guys are taking over my Christmas on the street. Well, just sit down. You're going to be all right. So it was just one of those fun things, grassroots, door to door, 17 houses on my block, loving neighbors, doing what the Bible says, love God first, love your neighbor like you love yourself, embracing the kids. So we had the sled. The
Mhm.
mayor of Richmond was our Santa. Okay, the mayor.
Yeah.
Tom Buzz, he was our Santa. And we hand out, oh, I had when we first started, I think we had like over 500 and some kids, but they wanted us to take it down a little bit because it was too big. There was too many people coming, so they had us pare it down. But we'd hand out kids, we'd take photos with Santa, we'd decorate the Christmas tree, they'd ride the train, they'd have barbecue and sodas and chips and things, and we'd give away the gifts at the end. We'd give away the gifts, and they would go home. Everybody would go home happy, and we never ran out. And we did it ourselves. Now I'm gonna say that again, guys. We did it.
That's right.
Everybody on my block gave $25 each. They provided the sodas, they got the food. Even the guys that you say were bad in your neighborhood, the gang members and deals like that, they played a role into it. They kept the peace. And then they would have to say, AJ, is anything that you need? I said, well, no, we pretty much got that. They'd go there and get a bag of chips. They'd go there and get soda water, and then they'd leave.
They wanted
And
to contribute.
They wanted to be a part of it. They
Right.
wanted, again, this is what the glory of what God can do. He can take a person and put you in a position the way if you just open your mouth and ask for help, you can receive it because he's given you that gift.
Wow.
That there's a saying, I'm going to steal this from pastor, and I forget what church it is, but he says, God wants to bless you intentionally, but he may not bless you conventionally.
Right. That's good.
Right?
That's good. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I just loved coming for many years to Christmas on the streets and watching the happy children
Yes.
and bringing some of my friends to help.
Yes.
People that worked in Richmond and in our area.
Yes.
And
So
it was just such a delight. And anybody can do that. Don't you think, AJ? Anybody can make a step.
you have to have the will.
That's it. You
Where's
have to
your
have
will?
the will.
God has given you the power,
That's right.
but you have to have the will to make the change in any neighborhood. You
Yeah.
can do it.
Well, I might mention that AJ just didn't stay in his neighborhood because I remember when he had Richmond's Got Talent. And that was a huge event for the whole city. And it kept the kids busy for the summer. And I don't know whether it was in August, you had the competition, but the kids were alerted that, you get to show your talent.
Yeah.
It'll be on stage. And I was one of the judges.
Yes, you
Which
were.
was my honor to be one of the judges. And I think there were 4 or 5 of us.
Yes.
And we had kids singing and dancing and group participation and choirs. And I loved it. It was so much fun.
Yes.
And I remember taking the picture of the winners, and I still use it on my website.
Yes, ma'am. Well, the key for those who are listening, opportunity, attention, and expression is the way out. Opportunity to change. How can I change if there's no opportunity to change? So when you have those talent shows or you have those records or whatever it is to bring in good, you're providing an opportunity to change, to do something different. Attention. We never pay attention to our kids. As long as they're out of our face, out of the house, they don't get in trouble. Everything is rosy. See? But you should be paying attention to them. Constantly paying attention and grooming them and teaching them and loving them and caring for them. Attention and an expression. Some of them dye their hair, some of them pin their nose, some of them put their eye, they stick an earring, sit them in the hair, wear a hairspray. So everybody wants to be different. So that means of expression must exist because people are different. Opportunity, attention, and expression. We can get our way out of this. Now, I want to tell you this before we run out of time. Seal of the African American was established in honor of the African people enslaved and brought to America in chains. They and their descendants contributed to the building of America. Their testimony, while denied freedom, justice, and equality, it was their faith, their history, their culture, their hope. That is the seal of the African American. So with that, any other question you want to ask me, I'll be glad to answer.
Well, you are such a bright light for helping other people. I love your message. I love what you've been able to accomplish. But you
Honesty.
know, I don't think most people understand that when you give, you receive even more than you
Right,
give.
right, right.
And you have been such a vehicle for helping people over the years and making a difference in your community. So, how do you think that we can stop the crime and violence that's going on in our inner cities? Because you've seen what all of us have seen. We've got 12 cities now that have been burning in the summer of 2020. And there's a lot of youth violence is way up, looting stores. You've seen these pictures just like all the rest of us. What needs to change?
Well, number one, I want to draw this out, and I'm going to be careful about it. But our integrity starts at the top as the example.
Okay.
So you can't have people at the top who will lie, steal, and cheat, and then everybody else is supposed to be honest.
True.
You see, so you
That
gotta
makes
be,
sense.
okay. So it's not, you got to set that example, at the top. That, hey, integrity, reliability, honesty, abiding the law. These things mean something because that's what we aspire to. This is our higher calling to. So you got to have that example. Number one. Okay, now just imagine if you went to every ghetto, whoever was throughout the United States or wherever you want to go, and you empowered one person in that ghetto, in a Hunters Point or Potrero Hill or Mission District or in a Los Angeles Watts area, so one person. Then you could take that one person and empower two people. Then you'd be setting an example. Hey, George or Alice was this and Peter was that, but now look at them. They're helping people do it. And you use those people as your opportunity to offer a change. And guess what? The drug dealers are open 24 hours a day. The house of ill repute, it never closes. So you can't have an office. Hey, I'm just going to be here 8 o'clock and I'm going to get off at 5. Call me. Oh, yeah, I know you got a problem, but call me Monday, okay?
Yeah.
You see what happened?
Yeah.
I can't wait till Monday because
things are going on today.
I don't have money to wait. So we find, and so trouble is easy to get into and hell to get out of.
Yeah.
So if we can beat them to the punch, see, that's we have to have more opportunity, more interaction. The most needed part is more love. See, instead of just using people, you go to bring them more love, and then you have the institutions that's supposed to uphold what they're supposed. They have to uphold those things and be true to them, because other than that, it just becomes, hey, they're doing it. What the heck, right? Mom and dad are doing it, so President so and so is doing it, so
yeah, it must be okay.
So you got to lead by example.
Do you know, I love what you had to say about one person, or will multiply into two and so forth. And that's one of the reasons why I put on my network, safekidsnow.com, an article about neighborhood safety experts to be hired and trained that look like and speak the language of the community, to go back into the community and help bring these neighborhoods together. So anybody can find that article, and we need to be promoting people in the community to get involved. And in some areas, the fear is so great that we really need to hire and train and pay people to go in and not do the work, but teach people how to do the work.
You got a segue for me called Minority Justice Center, run by young people, that they need to know the law, study the law, because when you are faced with the law, you need to know your rights. You need to know what can be done and what can be done. And so just imagine, here's a scenario. I'm bringing up George Floyd. Here's a police officer breaking the law, standing up on top of a man in the neck, and he choking him to death. What if they had been a number that they could have called and said, hey, something's going on that's not right here? I'm not talking about the police. I'm not talking about 911. You don't call the villain for the villain. You need, So like we have fire. We have numbers for the 611. We got 511 for traffic. We got when you see something like that of that occur, and they had film at that time available. It could have
Yes.
been a number that could have been a call to say, "Hey, look what's going on." You see what I mean? Then that person could have said, "Hey, Joyce, Jack, or Joe, knock it off."
Mm,
Nobody to call.
that's right. Nobody
Hey,
there.
Nobody there to call. Nobody
Yeah.
to call. But that Minority Justice Center, ran by them young people, could have made a call to that chief or that DA, or then, hey, we got a picture of you now, because I think it took, I don't know how many hours to kill the man. That's basically what it was, murder. But it would not have happened in that manner. And that officer would not have been as cavalier, you
Mhm.
see. It wouldn't have, but the people were not empowered. What power did they have? To right or wrong,
Yeah.
you see.
And most people don't feel they have any power at all. And
That's the
that's not
problem.
true.
That's
That's
the
not
problem.
true.
Yes,
All of us have a lot of power, but we don't use our power to
That-
create positive change. And
those
that's what
same kids that's caught, that's going to jail right now with a Minority Justice Center to put them on the right track before they get deep into trouble, could have gave them not only law, could have gave them direction, could have gave them leadership, it could have gave them mentorship. It could have. Now you're going to have some bad actors. You're not going to get everybody, but they can't say the opportunity wasn't there. You see what it is?
Mhm.
See, that's
Yeah.
the key. You can't say you didn't have a chance to do better. So we came under, if you think about it, we came under the EEOC, WIC program, CETA program. They had different programs. All the advancement of the poor people came through programs, you see? And so that gave them an opportunity to advance. That's why we were able to make some up. But somebody got the why, oh no, I think they've gone far enough.
Well, it's not about, it's really not about money. It's really about people. It's about helping each other. It's about seeing a need and filling it,
That's right.
you know.
That's right. Because it's still your call to duty is not predicated on how much money you're going to get.
No.
If you see wrong, wrong is wrong.
That's right.
Yeah. Like I'll say what George Parham told me, you don't do right because somebody pay you to do right. You do right because it's right to do right.
Correct. Well,
See?
listen, AJ, I want to thank you so much for joining me today.
Okay,
It's been a pleasure to have you on and to
Wonderful.
tell us about your experience and what you've been able to accomplish. And I just really, well, I'm so thankful that you were here and sharing your thoughts with everybody else. So keep in touch. And any final word you have to say to the audience?
opportunity, attention, and expression. Make it available for people so that they can change. And hold fast to God. Hold fast to your faith, and we'll make it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, AJ.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, that was so inspiring. And thank you for joining us today. AJ is a wonderful man of principle and doing such a marvelous job to help other people. And he's been doing it for many, many years. And he's, as you can tell, gotten a lot back from the work he's done over those years. Well, next week, we have another amazing man that I've known for quite a long time, and his name is Terry Boykins. And he has a program called Daughters' Lives Matter. And we're going to be talking about how he brings fathers and daughters together to strengthen the family unit. So until next week, thank you so much for joining us, and peace. 2022 is the year of peace and healing. Goodbye.
You're listening to All About Us Radio. We're live streaming 24/7, playing old school versus new school. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at AAU Media, and visit our website www.aaumedia.com. Call us at 1-833-369-1444, extension 1, and leave us an inspirational message or request. You're listening to All About Us Radio. You're listening